The movie opens with 5 people sailing far out into the open ocean on a small sailing boat. At first, everything seems completely normal, but that calm doesn't last for long. As Brad stands on the deck, he suddenly gets a strange feeling. Looking at the sky, he realizes a massive storm is building fast. Something about the weather just doesn't feel right, and he immediately warns everyone else. Not everyone takes it seriously. One of the crew members, Mark, is heavily intoxicated and can barely function. Seeing him in that condition, John loses his temper. He reminds Mark that they're stranded in open water with dangerous weather approaching, and this is the worst possible time to be irresponsible. But Mark doesn't seem to care. Realizing there's no point arguing, John leaves him behind and heads back up to the others. By now, everyone on deck can clearly see the storm moving toward them, and the mood changes instantly. At the same time, back at the control center, operators discover something even more alarming. It's not just one storm heading toward the boat, it's 2 powerful storm systems closing in from different directions. They immediately try to contact the crew over the radio. The problem is, the person assigned to monitor the radio is Mark, and he's passed out. The control room keeps calling over and over, but nobody answers. A little later, Mark finally wakes up and hears the incoming transmission. Realizing how serious it is, he rushes to the deck and tells John everything. The news hits John hard. Their sailboat isn't built to survive even a single storm, let alone 2 of them. Knowing they need help immediately, John heads below deck to radio for assistance. But just before he can make the call, Max, who is following behind him, accidentally slams her foot into the edge of an oven inside the cabin. The injury is painful enough that everyone rushes over to check on her. Once things settle down, Brad finally manages to contact the control center. The response isn't what anyone wanted to hear. They are told that several large container ships should pass through the area within the next 3 hours. Until then, the crew has only one option: somehow keep their boat afloat and survive the storm. In other words, no rescue can reach them before then. The reality is terrifying. Looking at the waves ahead, John knows they probably won't even make it another 30 minutes. Still, giving up isn't an option. He returns to the deck and does everything he can to keep the boat under control. For a brief moment, it almost looks like they're making progress. Then everything changes. A gigantic wave crashes straight into the sailboat, flipping it completely upside down in seconds. Everyone is thrown into the freezing ocean and begins swimming in different directions, desperately trying to stay afloat. After struggling through the water, they finally spot a small inflatable life raft that had been released from their sinking boat. It becomes their only chance. One by one, they swim toward it. Trying to keep everyone's spirits alive, John tells the group that rescue teams should arrive soon. Meanwhile, the control center continues attempting to reach them over the radio, but those calls are now completely useless. The radio sank along with the boat, leaving the crew totally cut off from the outside world. Hours pass. It's been 6 hours since the boat capsized, and no rescue has arrived. The group still hasn't climbed fully onto the life raft, because it's too small to safely support everyone's weight at once. Right here, another problem begins. The cut on Max's foot is still bleeding into the ocean. Before long, the scent spreads through the water. A nearby shark notices it. At first, one of the men feels something brush against his leg beneath the surface. A second later, Max feels it too. She carefully looks down and freezes. A shark is circling directly underneath them. Panic spreads instantly. Everyone scrambles to climb onto the raft at the same time. The sudden rush flips the raft upside down, throwing them back into the water. As they struggle to turn it over, Mark completely loses control. Instead of helping, he climbs on top of the overturned raft out of pure fear. The others immediately start yelling at him. Everyone knows they have to get back onto that raft before the shark comes any closer. After forcing Mark off, they finally flip the raft back over and climb aboard. The moment they do, the shark slams into the side of the raft with incredible force. The impact throws John into the water. For a split second, it looks like he's about to disappear beneath the surface. Thankfully, the others react fast enough to pull him back onto the raft before the shark reaches him. Once everyone catches their breath, John tells the group to stay completely quiet. Any unnecessary movement or noise could attract the shark again. Everyone listens. After several tense moments, the shark slowly swims away. But their nightmare is far from over. 14 hours pass, and John keeps encouraging everyone to stay hopeful. He believes that if they can hold on just a little longer, they might eventually drift close enough to an island to survive. Time keeps slipping away. Soon they've been stranded for 31 hours. When John checks Max's injured foot again, he realizes realizes the wound has become badly infected. If it continues getting worse, it could eventually threaten her life. There's no proper medical treatment available, but he does the only thing he can think of. He tightly wraps a belt around her leg, hoping to slow the infection. The pressure causes Max intense pain, and she cries out. Mark immediately panics. He's convinced the noise will bring the shark back. Without warning, he grabs the belt and throws it into the ocean. John completely loses his patience. The two begin struggling with each other, creating even more commotion in the water. And just like Mark feared, the shark starts heading back toward them. For one terrifying moment, it seems like it's about to reach them. Fortunately, Brad reacts just in time, pulling both John and Mark back before the situation gets even worse. The immediate danger passes, but the trust between the survivors is beginning to fall apart. The next morning, John suddenly spots what looks like an island on the horizon. After everything they've been through, it feels like a miracle. Without thinking twice, he jumps into the water and starts swimming toward it. The others are stunned. From where they're sitting, there isn't any island. John is chasing nothing more than a mirage caused by exhaustion and dehydration. By the time he realizes the truth, it's already too late. Before he can make it back to the raft, the shark reaches him first. The others watch in complete shock as John disappears beneath the water. In just a few moments, their strongest leader is gone. The silence that follows is even more terrifying than the storm itself. As another day passes, everyone's condition continues to get worse. They've now gone 81 hours without food or fresh water. Mark can no longer handle the physical and mental strain. He suddenly stands up on the raft, acting completely irrational, as if he's lost touch with reality. Brad and the others do everything they can to calm him down. Eventually, Mark settles down and lies across the edge of the raft with both arms stretched out. For a brief second, everything seems quiet again. Then the shark returns. It grabs hold of Mark and pulls him into the water. He struggles with everything he has, but there's nothing anyone can do. Within moments, he disappears beneath the surface, leaving the remaining survivors devastated. That night, the group sits in silence, remembering the friends they've already lost. Max quietly tells the others that Mark was actually a good man. She says they had planned to get married one day and build a life together. Hearing that makes the loss feel even heavier. Morning finally arrives, but it doesn't bring hope. Max doesn't survive the night. Brad and Deb are heartbroken, but they have no choice except to let her body drift away into the ocean. Slowly, it disappears beneath the waves. Back on land, the search teams are still looking. Unfortunately, they still haven't found any sign of the missing sailors. The hours continue to pass. Now they've been stranded for 109 hours. One small detail gives them a little hope. They haven't seen the shark for quite a while. Deb suggests that they should quickly flip the raft over and clean away the dried blood before the shark returns. If they leave it there, it could attract unwanted attention again. Knowing they have very little time, both survivors carefully climb into the water. Working as fast as possible, they turn the raft over, wash away every trace they can, then flip it back and climb aboard again before anything appears beneath them. The entire day goes by. Still no rescue. Another morning arrives. Completely exhausted, both survivors lie quietly on the raft, almost ready to accept whatever happens next. Then, something appears on the horizon. A huge cargo ship is passing nearby. They instantly jump to their feet, waving their arms and shouting with every bit of strength they have left. But the ship keeps moving. No one seems to notice them. The opportunity is slipping away. Realizing this may be their last chance, both survivors climb into the water and begin swimming toward the ship, hoping someone will finally see them. And this time, someone does. The ship's captain spots them through his binoculars. He immediately orders the vessel to stop. Crew members rush over and throw ropes into the water. The survivors grab hold and begin climbing towards safety. For the first time in days, it finally feels like they're going to make it. But even now, the danger isn't over. As Brad climbs, he notices the shark racing straight toward the woman behind him. He could save himself first. Instead, he turns around. Ignoring his own safety, Brad goes back to help her reach the rope. Together, they manage to climb aboard the cargo ship just before the shark reaches them. After 131 hours trapped at sea without food or fresh water, the two remaining survivors are finally rescued. The movie then shows real photographs of the actual survivors. We're told they spent 8 days in the hospital because of the severe condition they were in after the rescue. The woman who survived alongside Brad sadly passed away in 2012. Before her death, she wrote 3 books sharing the incredible story of what they endured. Brad, however, is still alive and continues spending time on the ocean, doing the work he loves. It's a powerful reminder that even after unimaginable loss, survival can leave behind a story that inspires generations. And that's where this unforgettable true survival story comes to an end. By the time you're watching this video, we've either already crossed 20,000 subscribers or we're very close to it. Thank you so much for your amazing support. I truly appreciate every single one of you.